People are able to afford their homes, afford insurance, go into the grocery stores, and you name it, one after the other. But I'm not talking about condoning wrong. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And then I'm coming to you. Y'all keep one. Go ahead. In the blue. Good morning. Well, number one, let me just say to you, I'm familiar with South Park. Okay? So I'm not coming in trying to be introduced to South Park. I know what South Park is. And I think even in my initial comments, I talked about South Park and Sunnyside. And Fifth Ward, the Nickel, the Third Ward, the Trail. Or Acres Home, the Fofo. You know. So let me just say, I'm not someone seeking to be mayor that just has to be, that I don't see where you are. But I do understand there are communities within our neighborhoods that, quite frankly, have either deteriorated or been ignored, and they need to be revitalized. Okay, and that's a critical component, because I want people to remain in the neighborhood. I want people to move into the neighborhoods, but we also want the improvements to take place while we preserve the character and the integrity of our neighborhoods. And we don't want the improvements and then we're displaced. We're moved out. Okay? So it's a delicate balance. Let me just give you an example of what I've done, instead of just talking about it in general. Okay? Like in my area. We had a city park, West Little York Park, 29 acres, but it didn't have anything on it. It just had the name. And no one was in it because there was nothing new to do. And I went to the mayor at the time, not this one here, and I asked about revitalizing the park. The mayor said, didn't have the money. I said, fine, but that's not really an answer when people will need. Say you don't have, it's just not an answer. So I said to the mayor, if I were to raise the money and revitalize it, well, the city at least agreed to maintain it. He said, that's a pretty good deal. And so I got an architect to go and walk those 29 acres with me, and said put some baseball fields in the park, and put an irrigation system on each one of the fields, night lighting, driving trail around it, expand the park, the whole 9 yards. Long story, to make this park an attractive park, so regardless of where it was sitting, people would still want it. And we did that. And then a year later, I was reading in the paper that in the New York Times, where Major League Baseball was starting this Urban Youth Baseball Academy in Compton, California. And they spent about $12 million to revitalize it, to do it. And a reading article, well, the guy who was in charge of that with Major League Baseball was a classmate of mine from law school. So I called him up and said, hey, man, why not do the same thing in Houston? And he said, first he said, no, I don't know about that. But anyway, he flew in, we walked that park. And I want you to know, the second Urban Youth Baseball Academy in the country. Not in the city, not in the state, but the second Youth Urban Baseball Academy is right here in the city of Houston. Right here. 2,400 kids go to that park every single year. And what's happening there needs to happen all over the city. Areas need to be revitalized. Homes where they're blue tops, we need to get those homes repaired. There are some homes that... Yeah, hold on one second. Go ahead.
No, I just want him to explain to you what he did as it relates to lowering the utilities for feed.
There you go.
In this state. They may not have read that.
Right. But Ms. Roberts, did I answer you? Because I don't want to lose you now. You know, because we've got to put the resources into the neighborhoods to build up the neighborhoods. The neighborhoods are still in need of affordable housing. They need the infrastructure improvements. They need the better streets, better roads. They want to be safe within those neighborhoods. You need the retail development to occur in those neighborhoods. People are looking for jobs. If people don't have jobs, they don't have the revenue, they don't have the money to do things that are needed. And so you got to have mixed use in those neighborhoods. You got to work with your civic associations very closely to design a plan specifically intended for them in mind. All of those things, the city has to bring all the tools within its toolbox to the neighborhoods in order to improve them. And it becomes a delicate balance because as the improvements take place, you want the people who have been living there for years and years, like yourself, to still be there. You want other people to come. And then another critical component that we haven't talked a lot about, a lot of these neighborhoods and the success of these neighborhoods depend on the schools that are in those neighborhoods. Because as long as there are quality schools that are not closing, parents will bring their kids and live in neighborhoods where they can have their kids go to school. That's another important component. And all of those pieces have to work together. It's not a quick fix, but everybody has to be on at the table to design neighborhoods specifically tailored for the people who have been there and living there for a long, long time. The important thing that you want from your leadership is that you want to be seen and you want to be heard and you want a city that will step out and will cooperate and work with you.
He's right. And he has done this before, and I think that should make everybody in this room feel good and know that he understands areas that appear to be neglected. Now, South Park, I represent South Park. I'm going to be really clear. And then you have the Hobby Airport area. And then you have Sunnyside. Now, there are a lot of people, even a friend of mine, they call South Park Sunnyside. I said, no, it's not Sunnyside. It's South Park. And so what has happened is that Sunnyside and the Hobby Airport area have done an excellent job of doing what communities are supposed to do. And South Park fell in the middle of it. And so what's important is working with Sylvester Turner as mayor and understanding the needs of the South Park community along with the Sunnyside community, the Hobby Airport community, those things that are needed there to be done. We have created a management district that's just not up yet. And to make sure that things good happen. But I'm an advocate for South Park because it's in my district and there are things that are needed. But why I'm supporting Sylvester Turner and why I think it's important to support him is he gets it. And he gets it in every area that's the South Park that may aren't as loud as some of the good advocacy around them. And so I just wanted to say that. And I think that's why it's really important to have someone who's had to do this for the neighborhoods that they represent. And it won't be just the loudest. It'll be, and I believe in advocacy. And that's the reason why we do the management district, so it creates the advocacy for your area. And you can organize around that in order to make those changes. I'm looking forward to working with my colleague as mayor to do these things that we've all been doing. He's done exactly the same thing in his area. So I just wanted to bring that up because I do have those concerns. But when you have a partner to work on those things, that's what makes a difference, y'all. And I am really happy that my friend and colleague is running for mayor because, again, as I said earlier, he gets it. And so it won't be that he doesn't understand it, but he's going to need partners to help him carry these things out because 6 years ain't a long time. So I just wanted to say that. I'm going to leave in a minute, Sylvester, but I have the utmost confidence, and I'm saying this is real. I have the utmost confidence in Sylvester.
Thank you. And let me also say, now I'm coming right to you, is that one of the things that I've noticed over a period of time is that it's important for whoever the mayor is to work very closely and directly with the representatives from your area. Okay? That's important. No one knows the area better than the people, the local people who are representing it, or the people who live in it. So I think it's important for the mayor to work very closely with the representative Garnett Coleman, to work very closely with the representative Al Allen. And even in Austin, for example, Representative Al Allen has told me, look, there are some parks in my area that need to be enhanced and improved, and we're looking for some funding for it. And we're doing that right now. So that becomes a critical component. You have to, as the mayor, you just can't assume that these things all just happening overnight. You got to work with your existing leadership. And you got to, in many ways, you got to follow their lead. And I'm prepared and willing to do that. Yes, sir. About 10 more minutes and then we're going to wrap it up.
President of Sunnyside City. I'm also the chairman of infrastructure for South Park City neighborhood. A couple of things I have is that Sunnyside landfill been closed in '76. All of the ideas that was submitted to the city to revitalize the landfill and put it to use, they won't spend the brownfield money to develop that property, which is right across the street. Other issues that we have that's really bad, we can't get HPD to enforce ordinances already within the city for boarding houses inspection, halfway houses inspection, also along with the Department of Neighborhood. That's a big problem we have here in Sunnyside, South Park, First Mile, Sylvester. I'm all over that field water. The other thing, you mentioned South Park. There are 10, 15 streets in South Park that were named after battles of World War I, World War II. Iwo Jima, Guadalcanal, those streets look like World War I. I feel like when you become to fix all of these infrastructure issues that's been neglected since Captain Whitmire's term. Pension was changed in '85 when she was there the first time. I'm a former employee of public works. Every time somebody hollers pension, somebody wants to fix the pension. First ones to cut are the municipal employees. Municipal employees is the ones that fix the street for the police to drive on. Municipal employees fix the ditches where you have the drainage problems and the flooding. Municipal employees make it so police can have speedy times to crime and for the fire trucks to get down out of the street. Yet still, municipal employees are the first ones that's cut. What are y'all going to do about that? Especially since they say the problem is on the state level. They can't touch the fire department, they can't touch the police department because it's on the state level. They are city employees just like the municipal employees, and it's nowhere fair that those that own the ground out there in the hot sun, not riding around in an air-conditioned police cruiser, is the first one that always get the axe.
And I agree with you.
Where is the money going to come from? Or what's the plan to fix this for 50 years of neglect?
Let me just say, and there's a whole lot wrapped up into that packet. Let me see if I can unpack some of it, okay? In 2016, 17, and 18, the city will face financial challenges. The debt service will spike in 2018. We have clustered a lot of that debt, and so those debt payments will spike in 18. We certainly can look at trying to smooth some of that up and down. You still want to pay as you go, but we may need to smooth that out a little bit to provide us a little bit more breathing room. The city has been under a revenue cap since 2004. What I mean by that, when you reach a certain point, inflation plus population, then the city cannot receive any additional revenue. When Bill White was the mayor, he added another $90 million on top of the revenue cap in 2006, okay, to give him some extra breathing room, and he dedicated that primarily to public safety. we are now running up against that revenue cap. For a growing city, where there are more people coming into the city and more services, a revenue cap in many ways is counterproductive. I think we need to modify the revenue cap, where you have certain exceptions, either to pay down the debt or you reserve something for public law enforcement. But the revenue cap needs to be, at the very minimum, it needs to be modified because it's counterproductive. When the legislature was thinking about putting a revenue cap on the county in this last legislative session, it was the county judge and others who came to office and said, do not put a revenue cap on the county. We don't want it, and the legislature didn't do it. The revenue cap for the city of Houston, we need to take a second look at it, and we need to look at it. With regards to the pensions issue, you are right, the pension issue has been around a long time. It didn't just start. It has been around a long time. Every pension change since 1993, every pension change since 1993 done by the legislature has come from the mayor, the city council, and the stakeholders, that they brought those changes to Austin and asked us to make changes to the pension system. The last change came in 2001. And the projections that they made, and whether or not the pension system was going to be actually sound, those projections were wrong. I agree with you that you cannot balance the budget on the backs of city employees. You cannot do it. With regards to the municipal workers, they have changed their system several times. It's not just one tier, they have 2 or 3 tiers. It's longer now for them before they can retire. Municipal employees are paying more into the system. Their eligibility requirements are higher. The annual annuity for a municipal employee after they work for the city for, let's say, 20, 25 years, the average annuity is only $24,000. That's it. $24,000 for them to live on for the rest of their life. That's their annual annuity. So I agree we have to be very, very careful. For those who are advocating pension reform, and they say it's on the state level, please bear in mind, I've been at the state level for 26 years. These folks have been up there for a long time. Al has been up there for a long time. Austin will not be Houston City Council. And what I mean by that, if you want to be successful in Austin, the mayor, the city council have to come to Austin with an agreed-to proposition. Unless it is agreed to, Republicans and Democrats alike will not vote to interfere in the city of Houston's business.
Amen.
So anybody who's talking about, going to Austin and changing it and pension reform, that is pure political demagoguery.
Yes.
Because they don't know how the system works. They don't even know how Republicans work in Austin. And I will tell you, Republicans will not mess with the pension system unless the mayor, the city council, and the stakeholders are on the same page. And that's the bottom line. Now, can you make a system that is actuarially unsound sound? The employee retirement system, the largest in the state, 200,000 plus employees, has an unfunded liability of $7.5 billion. Costing the state $500 million a year, okay? Major. But the governor just signed a bill with 3 people's names on the bill as the authors of the bill that has made that system actuarially sound. The chairman of appropriations, John Otto. The chairman of pensions and retirement, Dan Flynn. And yours truly, Sylvester Turner. HB 9. We have taken a system in which, in this case, employees are paying more, the state's paying more, and we covered the employees' contribution by giving them an added pay raise. The employees signed off on it. There was no disagreement. The plan is now actuarially sound. You're not costing $500 million a year. The 80 bond agencies have now given us a thumbs up, and the system now is working. The same formula that we utilize in dealing with that system, you got to utilize in dealing with this system here. There is no other mayoral candidate, and there are 12 of us, but there is no other mayoral candidate that has taken a system that was actuarially unsound and made it sound and is working, but the one that you're looking at right here. Only one. And that's the fact that I'm coming to you. But I want you to know something. in terms of people who have looked at all of us, this is the first time in a long time, when police officers and firefighters and municipal workers and the AFL-CIO and the International Longshoremen and the Metro Police and the Texas Municipal Police Officers Association, all of those groups have endorsed and gotten behind one candidate out of 12. And you're looking at it right up here. It's the first time that has happened. The first time.
Man, I got so many things in mind. I know that the mayor has a lot to do with the next police chief. That's a concern of mine.
Yes.
Also, the fire chief.
Yes.
Can we find somebody that's in the fire department now that's qualified enough to become chief without going on out? I've always had a problem with that. We got qualified people that work every day, look out for the city, but yet we reach beyond them and get somebody bring them in that knows nothing really about the city. I'm concerned about that. Also, on city council,
Yes.
the present mayor does not work well with all the council. I got a problem with that because at times when she met with 2 or 3 council members, with other council members, they need to know what's going on. Now, we need strong people
Right.
on the council as well.
Right.
A mayor or whoever, pastor, whoever, they can't be any strong or effective without surrounding themselves with the right people. Now, I shouldn't be doing this, but I've seen people being concerned about reaching out, reaching the young. We got people like Laura McNeil that's been here for years, working hard. I would love to see an African-American female on that council, but you don't have anything to do with that.
Right. But let me just say, I agree it's important to work with others. You got to work with the members of the city council. I look forward to working with the city council member of this area. All of them. Just like my relationship is very, very positive with my colleagues in the Texas House, both Democrats and Republicans alike, to be honest with you. You just have to have that same sort of, build that same sort of consensus with the others, and I look forward to working with them. Certainly, I think you always want to look internally first. You want people who are capable, competent, qualified to do the job, and you never should assume that you can't find that person right here. I mean, quite frankly, I'm asking you to vote for me for mayor. I grew up right in the city. So the same sort of principle applies. So I agree with you. I do want to acknowledge Andrew Burke, who's also running for city council at large position too, I believe. Andrew Burke. I'm going to take this question and then Ms. Hines, and then we've got to wrap it up because they tell me I got to go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's about, I noticed that you have community improvement. Well, Pastor Nash's, our Sunnyside Place CDC, we're working with the housing. And when we started out, housing was fine and it was doing fine. When the new mayor came in, it switched all around again. I mean, are we going to go back to where we can get affordable housing? Because I heard you say that you bring people back to the community. We're trying to bring people back to Sunnyside. And how you do that is you give people that opportunity of those single family, the single layer homes. I'm not talking about multi apartments. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about giving younger people, and some of these younger ones that their mothers and grandmothers are still living here, but they've moved away to the other areas. We're trying to build Sunnyside back up. And how you build Sunnyside back up is you give them an opportunity to have their first home inside their community. So we want to hope that when you become mayor, that you will work at that and look at that and building this area back up. I heard Mary Roberts talk about South Park. Well, we want to build Sunnyside back up. And I'm from Galveston, Texas, but Houston has become my home. Sunnyside has become the area where I live. I want to see this area built back up.
And I'm in total agreement with you, and I want to join with you in doing exactly that. And there are many. There are the children of parents who have been in our neighborhoods for years and years that want to return back to their neighborhoods. My daughter is a case in point. She's now 28. She's looking to purchase her first home. And it has been difficult trying to find a home for her. But she wants to live in the city. So I agree with you. I have 2 of my lawyers, for example, that work with me. And of course, I was telling my lawyers that if anybody's going to vote for me, I expect y'all to vote for me. And they told me, certainly we'll vote for you, but we don't live in the city. I said, where do you live? They said, we live in Pearland. I said, I said, well, no problem. I'm giving you about 4 months to move into the city. I'm paying you. You can't even vote for me, But what they said to me, find us something that we can afford for the same price, and we'll come into the city. Well, we got to work to do that. The key is that we've got to work to revitalize and build up our communities, or we lose them. Once upon a time, there was a freedman's town, which was 4th Ward, and now it's Midtown. I see Doris Evans right there in the audience, right there, but fighting tooth and nail in the 4th Ward area. I still refer to as freedman's town. If we don't build these areas up, if we don't do that, if we don't work with the school system, okay, because all of these component parts are critical, then we will lose them. And so I'm committed to doing just that. Saturday, and then we're going to finish with you.
Representative Turner, I simply want to say thank you. Many people probably do not know that during the past years, you have been faithful in trying to reduce the energy costs to many of the seniors citywide. Seniors are having difficulties right now with utilities.
Right.
Many of them are living in the houses where they are not turning on the air conditioning.
Right.
The other problem is you mentioned the blue talk. If the blue talk were the United States flag and the president flew over Houston, there would be flags waving all over. Many of those seniors are living in houses that you can see clearly out of from the inside.
Right.
I want to know why this city has not utilized the funding that the federal government passed down to the municipalities to repair the senior houses. That has already been done. Where is the money to fix the senior houses? And the last thing is, there's a huge population of seniors who are fast becoming the next generation of hungry and homeless.
Right.
And is anyone paying attention?
Well, let me just say to you, I have made my life work. There are 2 groups that I'm very, very passionate about. Seniors happen to be one of those groups, children of the other. Those are 2 groups that I'm very passionate about. It is true that we've taken community development dollars and we provided, for example, $50,000 a door to build residential housing downtown. Quite frankly, I think the market will take care of that. We've incentivized it, but I think the market will take care of it. But now we've got to look at making sure that those dollars that are coming from the feds, through our community development, are utilized to assist our seniors in getting these homes repaired. At one time, there was a big issue of the monies that came in from Hurricane Ike. And I don't know if you recall, there was a lady, for example, senior citizen, whose house was literally falling down on her. And she spent most of her day at Luby's during the day because her home was just not in a place where she could live during the day. And so she would go to Luby's, stay there all day, and then the evening would come back. I saw it on television. But they had taken her name off the list. Well, I worked with her and worked with the city to get her name back on the list. And we took a look at her home. It couldn't be repaired. It literally had to be torn down. And so then I had to convince her to leave her home and senior citizen. She told me, I want it repaired, but I'm not going to. She said, no, I'm not leaving. So I said, I got to get you out so I can fix it. And she said, no, I'm not leaving, Mr. Turner, I'm not leaving. So we worked, and I ended up having to take her to a senior citizen apartment. Well, anyway, long story short, her house has been rebuilt and she's now back in it. The emphasis, I think it has to be a priority standard. You just have to, I think leadership will drive results if they recognize the importance of it and it's important to them. When it comes to our seniors and living in, just being treated as human beings and appreciated and respected, that is my passion. I know it's your passion. And I look forward to utilizing all the resources available with the City of Houston to work in conjunction with you to make a meaningful difference, not just in South Park or in Sunnyside, but all over the city, because there are seniors all over the city, and we need to make a difference for them. So I'm with you on that. Let me just say in closing, let me thank each and every one of you for coming. You did not have to be here, especially on a Saturday morning. And I know just coming for breakfast just didn't drive you here. But let me thank you individually and collectively. Let me also say to you, I need your help. I don't care how smart anybody may think he or she is, what your status may be or labels. The reality is everybody in this room has the same vote as anybody else in this room. Okay? Everybody got the same vote. In fact, at this point in time, I will tell you, you have more power than me. Be honest with you. Because if you don't vote for me, I stay right where I am. So everyone in this room is in a very powerful position. And I know there's a lot of frustration. I know people are looking in their neighborhoods and they just keep saying the same thing over and over again. And I know that many people who are saying, politicians, let me go the other way. Or they only show up at election time. All I will say to you is just talk with the people that I have represented. I don't think, Pastor Nash, there's anybody running that has spoken at more churches than I have. I don't think there's anybody who's done that. I don't think there's anybody who's been out here, who's running in this race, that's more committed than I am. Now, there are good people in this race. I don't doubt that. There are good folk here. And some people have relationships with them. That's fine too. But what I've said to people all over the city, this is not about friendship. This is about voting for your own special interest and the future of the city of Houston. I need your help. And in the most humblest way that I know how, I'm asking you to give me the opportunity to serve you. And if you give me that opportunity, I'll do my very, very best to return the investment on the investment you made on me. I need your vote. Election start. Please grab some yard signs, place them in the yard, and encourage other people to vote. Thank you for coming out this morning, and I'll see you on the campus.